obviously a big win for our program, but I say this every year at this time, not the most important thing that's happening on our campus. The group of students that participate in Dance Marathon is one of the most impressive things I've seen. I've been actively involved with them a number of times. They're going to raise well over $1 million every year. And it's a year-long process that they commit to. And it's impressive, and it speaks to the character of our student body. And so I'm proud to commend them on the job that they do, and continue to encourage them to make a difference. I think everybody knows, it's incredibly important to me and my family.
Can you just, the strategy to foul kind of toward the end, can you just walk through
Yeah,
that?
that's a tough one because you don't want to really start fouling. It was 21.5 when I got the ball back. I was hoping it would get to under 10. Logi fouled with 13.5. I think that was the right move because you don't want them pulling up, shooting a three, or all of a sudden somebody gets hung up on the screen, they kick it, and the guy shoots a three. And you're putting pressure on them to make free throws, but by the same token, if you foul 3 times, then you're putting pressure on your own team to continue to make free throws. Luckily, we made 5 out of 6. Really proud of those guys, Patrick and Peyton. So, I just didn't want them coming down and knocking a 3 in there, especially when you got Battle, one of the best 3-point shooters in the country.
Patrick said he knew all 4 were going in. Were you that confident?
I felt pretty confident. I'm glad he knew.
Patrick has had his struggles this season, but to see him step to the line and make all 4, how big was that for you guys?
Well, it's interesting because, when he sprained his ankle in a Nebraska game, we talked about it. It was a bad one, and his foot is still purple, and it stayed swollen for a long time, and he came back and he tried to help us in a couple games. I don't think he was 100%, but he tried to give us some quality minutes. I asked him if he wanted to take one more game off and really could grind, with his rehab, because if he did, then we don't play till Thursday. He said, no, I'm ready. He said that, I didn't play well, in the Indiana game, but I felt okay. And the other thing is, like, when you're out, you lose some of your conditioning as well. So sometimes it's more that than it is the injury itself. So he's really been working on his conditioning and his rehab, and he was terrific tonight. Gave us 10 points off the bench. Really proud of him.
Fran, Tony continues to impact in so many ways. Is this just a senior rising to the challenge on a consistent basis?
Yeah, you know what, Pat? His game continues to mature. Mm-hmm. He was, when he first got here, he was a junkyard dog, and that's what we loved about him, and that's why we recruited him. Fearless guy. I remember a couple guys hurt. We go to Rutgers and put him in a game. He hadn't played at all, and he was just tacking and wreaking havoc on defense, flying around. Probably wasn't even sure half of what we were doing, but he was just that competitive, and you could kind of see it coming. And then, of course, the following year he's playing great, and then we moved him into the starting lineup when we moved Bohannon back to the point, and then he helped us win a Big Ten championship. And then last year, some games he was beyond spectacular. A couple of games he was off, but I think now what you're seeing is a confident guy who knows what we want, who knows what he has to do to lead this team, and his decision-making is what you want from your leader, from your point guard, from your senior. And as you know, that settles everybody else down, right? Okay, get it to Tony, everything's good. And we didn't really run that much stuff other than try to get him space. Because once he does, then breaks the defense down and others have opportunity from there.
Fran, you guys outscored them in fast break 17-0, but it didn't seem like a lot of them were off turnovers. Just seemed like you guys were rebounding, then running and gunning. Just kind of describe how that really kind of kept you guys in it when things were getting tough. Then
yeah, especially at the start of the second half, we got some stops, we got some runouts, and there was a stretch where we weren't getting any rebounds, and that's frustrating because the guys I thought were really working defensively. But when we have an opportunity to run on misses, it certainly is going to be much more effective than we run on makes, which we were doing as well. And that was a big difference in the game because that settles everybody down. You get really good shot opportunities, and everybody gets involved.
What
Was
makes
transition
Josh so
defense-
good in the mid-range?
Josh is just a really good player.
Mhm.
I mean, he's got a mid-range game. He can shoot the three. He can get to the rim. He's athletic. He dunks the ball in a break the one time. He doesn't make wrong decisions. He turned the ball over to one time, but it was the right decision. It got deflected. Give them credit for that.
Transition defense, was that a focus tonight, considering you outscored them 17-0 in transition?
And they'll push it. Thornton's really quick and Gale's really quick, but they are a set play team, so they are calling sets a lot. And they're really tough to guard because they run terrific stuff. Chris has always run terrific stuff, and they go at different people. So you can't give up transition threes to battle and transition layups. We pressed the one time and Thornton took it all the way through. That was unfortunate, but I thought our guys were locked into sprinting back, facing up, and nobody jogs.
Fran, this game got off to a really, really quick start. Logi went in there, just seemed like he really impacted the game defensively, rebounding. Really doesn't get moved by guys that appear to be bigger than him, but it just seemed like he provided such a big boost for you.
And he also got some traffic rebounds when we needed him. He is really good low post defender. He is a really good ball screen defender, and he's a really good traffic rebounder. So that's a lot of value right there. I'm really proud of him. He played like a veteran tonight.
You feel like you've got a lot of guys trending in the right direction right now?
Yeah, I do, and that's obviously what you hope. You get to this point in the season. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in doubles. 4 other guys scored. Brock comes in, gives us a lift. Asante makes a great drive to the basket. I feel bad for Owen. Keeps getting in foul trouble, but when he was in there, he was good. And it was good to see Ben get going a little bit. He struggled in the last game, but he gave us 8, so that 8, 3 assists for him.
Coach, you kind of just talked about how Owen was in foul trouble. Then obviously this wasn't Ben Kirky's best game. He's had some really impactful games throughout the season, but even that off game, when your 2 premier big men are just having an off game, what does that say about the rest of the team just finding a way to get it done?
Well, I think it's important, and it's absolutely critical. That means Peyton's going to play some 4, and that's hard sometimes in this league with the 4s that are in this league. And then obviously puts pressure on Logi, who we just discussed. So you've got to be able to stay the course and still win games. If Ben's a little off and Owen's in foul trouble. There's no other way. If you don't do that, then you're not going to win in this league.
Fran,
Coach Peyton Sanford was talking about the tough stretch of the Maryland game, then the Indiana game. How does it feel to just get a close one and to finish it out?
Yeah, I just have the feeling that a lot of games in this league this year are going to be like that. You have some teams that have lost sort of a lot of games in a row. That's a really good team we just beat. Chris has done a great job. Indiana, same thing. That game was in the balance. Maryland was in the balance, and it always hurts when you lose, but that's what you face. There's no easy game in this league, and you might have an outlier right now like Purdue. Wisconsin's played really well. Storrs made a big difference with the other guys they had back, and Northwestern's playing at a high level, but they've got 4 losses. They're really good. So it's an even league with incredible parity, and you just kind of want to stay healthy and you want to keep grinding.
Fran,
Last question, Tyler.
not just as a coach, but as a father to see, Patrick miss time last season. Now it's been, rocky this season with him even being on the floor. Like, what has that been like, as a father to watch?
Well, it's really important on so many different levels. As a dad, you feel really good for him because you know what the journey's been like. I thought he was really turning a corner at the Nebraska game. Then he gets hurt. So you're dealing with a couple different things. And then, okay, do I put him back in the starting lineup? Do I bring him off the bench? I felt it's better to bring him off the bench like we are and bring experience and veteran leadership and intelligence and then some pop. He'll get you some points. Because he's always talking out there. He's always talking to the younger guys, what we're running, where to go, how to line up. Because when it gets in the flow, sometimes those young guys, they're supposed to be in a certain, they're not. They go the wrong way. And all of a sudden, you could, like if you're watching, you can see that there's something wrong. You don't know exactly what it is because you don't know what the play is, but you can tell that it's not perfect. So his value is so immense in that respect when you have veteran guys like him. But to see him make big free throws and just see him happy, it's a great feeling, and I think it bodes well for our team.
All right, thanks.